Welcome to the Rustic Garden Homestead. This is a firewood raised bed that I just built. I will put the link in the video description to show you how I made this. Nice 14-inch sides. I'm going to show you how to fill this in a way that's mostly inexpensive, give you some ideas. And we're also going to put in materials that aren't fully composted down in the bottom. It's the fall. Come spring, we'll be able to plant whatever we want in here. But today, we're also going to put in herbs. We're going to set this up for a mini herb garden, and they can continue to grow through the spring and summer next year. And these plants I got on sale at Home Depot, 50% off. Now's a great time to get discount plants, and we're going to pop them around the space to really brighten it up come next fall or next spring. Be lots of purple flowers in here. But you can really fill a raised bed in the least expensive way by getting peat moss. You could do 50% peat moss, 50% your native earth, the earth that's in your ground, mix it together, fill it up, and you have a great planting medium. You can put in granular fertilizers and stuff like that. But what I'm going to show you is how to layer in different stuff on your property. Because the hardest thing, or the most difficult, I guess, problem with raised beds is the expense in filling them up. So let's get started filling these, and we'll get to planting everything you see here. And we're also going to pop in some radishes at the end. So I just wanted to cut in, show you what we're going to do today. This is the space finished off. Beds are filled, herbs are in, different perennial flowers are around the space, and this is going to be beautiful come the spring. So this is cow manure. I don't, specifically recommend this product. This is not fully composted down. I will put a video in the iCards and at the end that talk about manures. But this is a manure that says compost, but it's not fully broken down. So that's okay for the fall. We're just gonna put this right in the bottom. This will be great come spring. Here in Maryland, we are gonna plant the top of the soil, but the stuff here in the bottom will have 4, 5, 6 months to break down, and it will feed the plants that go in there in the spring and in the summer. But this was on sale. It was only $4 a bag. It's mostly peat moss, the stuff that I told you can make yourself. That's going to go in there. If you really want to save money, these are leaves. This is pretty well broken down, but not fully broken down. These are leaves that I just threw into a pen last year, and they've broken down. Want to save money? Save all your leaves. You'll make wonderful leaf grow by just letting it sit there. So that's all going to go in there. That's going to be the bottom half, and then we'll fill it with some of that 50-50 mix that I've been telling you about. But this is beautiful stuff. Just leaves that sat from October of last year until October of this year, ready to fill up my raised bed. This is nice and solid, by the way, put together with screws if you want to build something like this. So the cost of filling this so far is $9. And we're going to be able to fit in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pepper plants come the spring. Plus the herbs will be in there. And you're just going to spread out the material. You can mix it together if you want. Worms, soil biology, microbiology will all take care of everything down there. But you don't have to spend that fortune filling your beds. Alright, so I'm going to bring over my 50-50 mix, fill the rest of this. With the 50-50 mix, when you're buying a 2 cubic foot or 3 cubic foot pressed bale of peat moss, this is going to take maybe a quarter of that at the most. So that peat moss, again, that 50-50 mix, you can use in containers, raised bed, around your garden, saves you a lot of money. So another way to save some money is to grow your own seed starts. We have thyme, oregano, sage over there. They're all going into the bed. I'll show you what I'm doing. But these only cost me maybe 10 cents to start myself. Rather than paying $3 a plant, that extra money you save will be your garden budget, and that budget can be used for filling the raised beds maybe. It's harder sometimes to get the potting mixes, the container mixes, I understand that. But I just want to show you a way that you can do it more cheaply. So when you're building this out of the firewood logs, and some people were worried that this is going to get termites, you can, to be honest with you, put sprays on the outside. That's not going to get to the roots of your plants. If you want to manage the pests, you could use organic means. You could treat just down below here. That will keep these logs lasting longer in your garden. But this is going to be good for a good 3 years. And I really like the rustic look. So I seed start. We have oregano, thyme, and I just pop out the plant. You gently pull the green through, and you can then like smash the roots, push them forward a little bit, and then we'll just fill on top of there. Over on this side, did that with the oregano. This one comes out a little bit more. That's fine. You just got to tuck it in. We'll just shove some dirt around there, some soil, and then some more thyme. These are going to grow out the side. I want that look. And then we'll also be planting on the outside in a couple right in here. This is some of my 50-50 mix that was in a container. I'm just reusing that. I don't need that container anymore. And when you make that, it ends up looking something like this. So let me get this together and we'll keep building. So it's looking pretty good. You could stop there, put some mulch on top of here after your plants go in, but I don't want to put wood chip mulch down now because I do want to plant some radishes in there, and they don't like to grow through the wood mulch. You can put mulch down later in the spring or summer when you have your pepper plants or something growing in here. So here is the peat moss. This is what I normally buy. It works really, really well, and I'm going to add in more peat moss to really kind of raise the level here. When you add in peat moss, sometimes people are concerned that it's too acidic. You could add in a handful of lime. Lime will raise the pH. It'll make it less acidic. Now, I don't have lime, I actually have gypsum. If you're worried that your soil will get too high in the pH, I mean it'll become too alkaline by adding in lime, you could add in some gypsum. What that adds is that adds some calcium in there, and that helps with blossom end rot. So the peat moss is pressed and very dry. Normally I'll wet it down, but it is starting to rain, so I'm not going to worry about it. But something like this, and then spread it around, and you would mix it through. This is where I would put in the gypsum that I was just showing you. Here's some organic fertilizer. Any fertilizer on sale is fine. Just a big handful down this side, big handful down this side. This is organic granular, slow release, so it's going to take time to break down. And I would just go through and mix this all up. Now for radishes, this is 50 holes, an inch apart, 2 inches apart. It really doesn't matter. 1/4 inch deep, 1/2 inch deep. I just do finger holes, and then I've dropped 2 seeds into each of those, and then you just cover them over. When they're about 1/2 inch tall, thin to the strongest seedling that came up, so you only want 1 per hole. And then the perennial herbs. So sage is a perennial, oregano is a perennial. If I had chives, I would put them over there. I've used them all in another part of my garden, and that's thyme. All perennials, which means they can take that freeze and frost and frozen ground that we get here in Maryland, zone 7, and it'll come back year after year. I'm putting them in the corners so they drape over and soften the side, and it's just really that easy. Now I spent 13 bucks on the peat moss, $9 on the manure and that bag of raised bed mix that was on sale. Transplants I grew myself. These would cost me easily $3 each. So I put in 1, 2, third one over here, that's 3. Just press everything in. We're going to water this in at the end. I'm not going to show you that on camera, you get the idea. 4, and then on the other side we have 5, 6. That would have been $18 worth of herbs. Seed start them, grow them yourself. That saves you money, and that $18 covers almost all the amendments. Plus I have all this extra peat moss in here that I can use in other places. So this is set up and planted for radishes. Radishes are a cool weather crop. They can take a frost, they'll be fine. I'll have these in November. The perennials will the perennial herbs will establish. I'll have herbs all season long next year. So let me finish up this space and put in the rest of these plants and show you what it looks like. Everything's watered in. So I have lemon thyme, a meadow sage, more lemon thyme, meadow sage, groups of 3. So there's 2 of each plant here, 3rd thyme over there, 3rd meadow sage back there. Groups of 3, 5, 1. Odd numbers seem to look better to the eye. Back corner I have some sage that I can cook with. I think that's broadleaf. Another sage and one down there. And then I have the oregano and thyme tucked into different places. And I think this spot looks a whole lot better. Putting any effort now towards the end of fall to set up your area will pay dividends come spring. It's not going to be a lot of weeds. I'll put mulch down later, and you know, this place will really look beautiful. I'll have purple flowers coming in. I'll have my herb garden set up, and I'll have a place to put in peppers come the summer. And in the spring, I'll be putting in more radishes and different cool weather crops in there. But water everything in. You're going to have to water in October about once a week. Just keep the soil moist. And put in some effort. Maybe transform that corner of your garden that's been neglected for the summer now. And then come spring, you can just kind of fluff it up and get planting. Thanks for watching. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com and check out the video description for the link of how I built this firewood raised bed. Also check out the video description. I have a podcast I'm doing now with 45-minute gardening videos with Callie Kim on the West Coast. They're a lot of fun. We, I think, are on our 5th podcast. I'm actually doing one today. But we plan to do 2 or 3 a month, so that's just another way to maybe learn a little bit about vegetable gardening. And again, thanks so much for watching.